Hi, I'm Christy Staib, Wealth Manager for women and their families. And many times I'm asked, how did I get into being a wealth advisor? And it really started for me when I was a teenager, when I was living with my mother and stepdad in the mountains of Colorado, and we were pretty poor. We didn't have very much money for food, so we grew a lot of the food. We hunted for our meat. When I was on the track team, we didn't have enough money for track shoes, so I had to borrow them from somebody else. And one time, about a week long, we had no plumbing in the house. And so I had to use the outhouse, this leaning tower of splintery wood and stink. And during this week, sure enough, 3 o'clock in the morning, my bladder was bursting. And it didn't matter how much I tossed and turned. It said, you have to go to the outhouse. And so I walked to the back door and opened the door, and it was freezing outside. So I put on my robe, and I still had goosebumps all over my skin. I put on my boots because there was all this snow. And as I stepped off, the snow seeped into the top of my boots and was making my toes little icicles. And in that moment, when the breath of my breath was freezing, I decided I'm going to dedicate my life to figuring out how people all over the world are able to earn enough money and save it to not live like this. And that's what I did. I read books, I interviewed wealthy people, and put to work what they suggested. I was saving 10% of everything I earned, and I went without. So a lot of my friends were going off and traveling and buying new cars, and I didn't, and that really did work. I now can afford a plumber and whatever food I want. I put myself through college. I took accounting and finance and management and happily went off into the workforce and was finding that I was helping my friends and other employees with their finances, so it was fun and easy for me. Along the way, I met the man of my dreams. We fell in love and got married, bought a house, traveled around, and one of the things that we liked to do is scuba diving. And on a scuba diving trip with my family down in Cozumel, and the first day in the first dive, in 4 minutes time, my husband Rick was indicating that he was having trouble, and the currents were very strong, and luckily the dive master was able to get him, but that morning he did drown, and that turned my life upside down. I was a mess. I couldn't really go to work for a while. I couldn't even write a check. So I went to counseling. I went to widow groups, and along the way I found that I was helping widows and widowers with their new financial predicament, and it was making a difference in their lives. And that touched my heart, and it filled with joy. So I decided to do this professionally. So I went to a well-known wirehouse and went through their training program, and I excelled at that. And along the way, I started feeling better about myself and started dating again, and found a wonderful man and fell in love, and I now have a beautiful marriage and a large family. Then I decided to go to a larger wealth management firm, it's a wirehouse, and learned a lot more about advanced planning and some investment consulting strategies. And later, it became a bank. A bank bought them, and after 2 years of that, I realized with all of the corporate edicts that they were doing, it would be better for my clients if I opened up my own wealth management firm. So I did that, and now I have a thriving financial practice. And to this day, I really enjoy getting the thank you notes and the phone calls from my clients telling me that my team and myself are making such a positive difference in their lives and that of their families and in their business. And so I am looking forward to many decades to come of getting financial advice.